Welcome to Chicago Drives Podcast, your go-to source for all things related to driving in Chicago. From navigating the city's busy streets to understanding the latest traffic laws. What are your questions? Our amazing guests are some of the best people in the business to answer and keep you ahead of the automotive curve. Am I ready to drive alone? What's that sound? Did I get ripped off? How do I protect this huge investment? We are here to help you become a safe and responsible driver on the road. So buckle up and join us in this journey through the ins and outs of driving in the Windy City. Welcome to Chicago Drives Podcast.
Hi, and welcome to Chicago Drives Podcast. We're a podcast where we're going to teach you to become a safer and responsible driver. I'm Naya, your host, and today we're going to be touching a very important topic about your teen driving, Teen Drivers Unleashed. And for that, we have our parent, a teen parent here that is accompanying us, Agustin. How are you doing, Agustin?
Doing well.
I am so happy to have you, and we're here because we want to kind of talk about how do you feel having your teen driving at this moment. Like what are your expectations or your fears? What are your worries? What is that it goes in your mind when your teen is about to learn how to drive? Is he learning already, like driving actually, or not? Tell me.
My daughter, she's actually just turned 15, so wow. She is starting to drive in the parking lot. And so it is nerve-wracking having her get out onto the streets. Obviously, there's a lot of things that can happen out on the streets. There's accidents every day, and definitely don't want her to be a part of them. Definitely nervous about how she'll act on the road and being with other friends in the cars and stuff like that. So definitely scary.
I know, I'm pretty sure it's scary. As a parent myself, it's also very tempting to not let our teens drive, right? But it's part of life. They're going to start learning how to drive, and our important thing as an instructor is to teach them the proper way. Yes?
Correct, yes.
Yes. All right. And also we have our friend here, Mr. Frank Valencia. It's also going to be part of this podcast, also because he was a teen parent a long time ago. Just FYI for all of you. So we're going to be talking with him too. So what could happen when your teen is out on the street and driving? What could happen? What do you think? What are your worries?
That they get hit by somebody or they hit somebody.
Yes, the danger of getting into an accident. Have you had any experience with your teen kids, Frank?
Yeah, I've had experience with 3 of my children, and it's scary that they may hurt themselves, and just as much as they may hurt somebody else. That is the nerve-wracking part.
Nerve-wracking part, yes. And also, let's talk about a little bit now. Now we have, in our times when you have no cell phones, but we had all the distractions. Now, cell phones are a big part of those accidents or the collision, right? What do you teach your daughter about text and drive? Do it carefully.
Of course not to put the phone away, of course. I'm not going to be there all the time. So but that's why I try to instill in her when we're practicing in the parking lot is phone is off and you put it away, and that's how it should be when you're driving.
Exactly. That's just one part of the distraction. But there's also, like you said, sometimes we're able to be there with them when they drive, and they will drive, safely. But when we're not there, they get all crazed up, right? Especially when they drive with friends. So as a parent, we always in the lookout for those type of things, right? So if you, let's say, what are your recommendations? Do you think it's good to start with them in an early age about teaching them safety driving? Or
definitely.
What are your thoughts about that?
My son is 10 right now. Ooh. And so I have him sitting from the back seat watching what I'm doing, explaining traffic lights and stuff like that, what to be aware of. Like you see this person walking. So I point out potential hazards while we're driving. So just to kind of get them started with something. Exactly.
The sooner the better.
Yeah, no doubt.
The sooner the better, because I think once they get to the time when they're about, to learn how to drive and all that, they already have that experience. Kinda, sort of, right? They're just
the knowledge.
Yes, at least the knowledge. Can you, I brought a little bit more of that, Frank. What are about teaching your kids all the things that we watch me try to drive, you know?
Well, like Agustin said, you start them early observing you, and above all, be a good role model behind the wheel. In other words, turn the wheel properly, stop completely at all stop signs, so that your son or daughter does the same and learns that they have to stop completely. Make sure that they are looking both ways. One of the major things that children miss when they get behind the wheel of the car, and it's something that you've been telling them since they were little, whenever you're going to cross the street walking, you look both ways. But sometimes the kids, when they get behind the wheel of the car, they completely forget that they have to look both ways.
Right.
So then we instill that as they're observing us. We have to look both ways still. Even though we're in the car, we still have to do the same things that we've been doing since we were children. Look both ways before you cross the street. And these are the types of things that you still have to instill, and have them observe how you move the wheel, how you move the foot, where you're looking. More importantly, where you're looking, because 90% of the driving is observing where you're looking. You have to look at the center where you want to go. And so we continually express that to the kids, so that when they eventually get a permit, at least they have the theory in the back of their head.
And of course, one of the preventive things that you can do for your child is get a camera that records both inside and outside of your car, and so that it always goes on as soon as the car is turned on. This way you can review what your son or daughter did throughout their drive, and if they got on the phone, you'll be able to be aware of it. And if they had a possible close call with another car because of the fact that they may have been on the phone, you would be aware of it, and that could settle your mind by observing their driving constantly. So having a camera would be beneficial.
Exactly. Another very important thing too about Agustin is what type of insurance should we get as parents, because we know, or if you guys don't know, our teens having our teens in our insurance will go up tremendously, right?
Yeah.
What kind of insurance should we have, or what kind of insurance do you have?
Your fault insurance. I'm just we get into an accident, it's their fault now.
It's your fault insurance. Excellent. That's an excellent insurance. Very good. Yes.
No, but it's something that I'm still looking into right now. You know, that's how come I haven't taken her out of the parking lot. So I'm gonna have to shop around.
Yes, eventually she will, be out. Right. So yes. So Frank, can you elaborate a little bit on what type of insurance do you recommend when we have teens driving?
Well, in my opinion, full coverage would cover you, the other driver, your passengers, the other passengers, your car, and the other car. So full coverage would be the one to go with. Full coverage also covers everything under the umbrella of the insurance policy. It'll cover comprehensive, it'll cover medical payments, it'll cover liability, both bodily and property damage liability. It has everything under the umbrella, full coverage. So that's the one that I would recommend.
Obviously, considering that the prices are so high because they're teens, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
No doubt.
No doubt about it. Well, thank you so much, Agustin. Thank you, Frank, for being part of this awesome podcast. If you need any type of information, please feel free to go on your web at novadriving.com. Also, take a look at all social medias, Facebook, Instagram. So if you have anything else, any questions about any other type of services, we're here to help you all. So this is Naya. Until next time, bye-bye.